Hey, what's going on, everyone? So, I have a proposition that I want to hit you with. If I was to show you this $50 bill, or I was to show you this little flake of gold, this gram, which one would you take? Now, in another sense, I want to show you another thing. If I was to show you this $20 bill, or this ounce of silver, which one would you take? If you answered the gold and the silver to both of those questions, you would be right. Now, here's the context that I wanted to bring in today. And these were great examples just to show you money and commodities, which would be the silver and the gold. What I'm talking about today is this craze that everybody's talking about, which is Bitcoin this year. That's outperformed the S&P 500. It's outperformed gold. And what I wanted to do was to explain a little bit behind the concepts. Now, the reason why I brought up this example of showing you the gold and the money was that why is this worth anything? And if you think about it, a $50 when I give to another person is just a perceived store of value. This is a note. It is basically just paper. But in this paper, we have a value of what this actually is entitled. And then when you have things like this, these are stores of wealth that have been assets that have stored wealth for many thousands of years. We've had gold for long periods of time. This one's trading at about $78 to about $92 at current day for a gram of gold. And then the silver would be trading at about anywhere from $25 to $32 on given days. During periods of recession, this is important because these are ways that people are investing their money into different nest eggs to help keep them away from harm during times of recession and uncertainty, as we have seen in 2020 and we've seen in the current age of COVID-19. Now, for those that are familiar that have been on my channel before, you know I talk about 3 M's. I talk about millennials, I talk about money, and I talk about motivation. What I try to get at in this channel is to basically get an understanding of the current space, where we're headed in the future. I talk about a little bit about technology, finance, and just certain motivational concepts that come to my mind. Some interesting things is that in 1971, the dollar was decoupled from gold due to Richard Nixon. What happened with that is that they basically put away the dollar from the gold. It's separated. So this basically became what is called a fiat currency, meaning that the perceived value is, again, what two people agree upon. Value is what people see in something. That is why you look at designer clothing and cars and there's inflated prices, is because people believe that it's worth that much. Now, as you see behind me over here, you see a Bitcoin chart and it's going up and down. It's very volatile. But the reason why I talk to people about owning a little bit of Bitcoin and investing in it is because these, which are commodities, the gold and the silver, are what you call hedge assets. And what a hedge does is, in times of uncertainty or times that we're going through, these have better stores of value than this, because these compete against inflation at a better rate than the dollar. Whereas the dollar might go down, these things go up. So it's good to invest in different avenues when you're dealing with your money. You might invest in real estate, you might invest in stocks and bonds, and you might have a 401k. But it's also important to put a little bit of your money into different assets so that you can diversify your portfolio. Whether you're a retail investor or an institutional, these are all concepts that the wealthy are using to get ahead. Now, the reason why Bitcoin is a little bit better for the millennial generation, Generation Z, is because in my grandparents' days, this would have been a great store of wealth. And, you can buy it in ounces and kilos and grams. And different 10-ounce formats. But the issue with that is that if you're storing in a massive amount of wealth, you're going to have an issue with transporting this. You're going to have issues with different things that come along with gold. So the reason why millennials are looking into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is because it is basically the monetary system of our generation. Now, I've always said that I believe that we are going to a cashless-based society sooner or later. And whether that's in the next 5 or 10 years, there is going to be a point where you will pull out your phone and make a transaction with a QR code, or you're able to send digits and send a store of value. So why am I so proposed to getting into this currency now? It's because of the scarcity of it. If you think of it like a Ferrari or a Rolls Royce, why are they worth so much? Now, they are very much so great technological cars when you're looking at the ingenuity of a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or a Rolls Royce. But inflation works similar to dollars, where if you print more of them, or if there's more cars on the highway, if you were to see 800,000 Rolls Royces in America, it'd be worth less because now more and more people have it and it's less scarce. So when we talk this year about printing lots of money, the HEROES Act that's looking to be passed very soon. It is November the 2nd at the time of recording this. And then we had the CARES Act, which printed about $2 to $3 trillion. There's only a certain amount of money we can keep printing and giving out before these things right here become useless. Now, I will reference you to Venezuela. I will reference you to what happened in Zimbabwe, where the printing press in their countries just printed billion-dollar notes. They just started creating currency like crazy, and what happened was the more and more they printed, the more and more the bills became useless, and you would have to have lots and lots more just to purchase your everyday items like bread and detergent and getting a car, and different things became harder in those countries during those times. And you could look back into history of how this happened. And similar to what we're going through, the reason why the price right now of gold is going up, it's at an all-time high. It's around the $1,900, almost $2,000 for an ounce of gold, is because as there's a lot of economic uncertainty and there's unemployment and there is COVID-19, which is a health crisis, we also have to realize that the ways in which we store our value need to be diversified even more, meaning that this isn't the old school where you have all of your money in real estate or you have all of your eggs in one basket. We are living in a generation now where you need to have 10 percentages to 100 or 25, 25, 25, 25, and have it in a very diversified stake into different assets, whether that be real estate, whether that be stocks, bonds. You're investing in different commodities, whether you own Barrick Gold or you own the physical gold. This is from JM Bullion. This is a gold piece, Valcambi. And what I always try to tell people when they're talking about storing wealth is, what is your backup plan if this doesn't work out? What will you have that will store the wealth into the future? The reason why Bitcoin is so popular right now is because we can quantify that there will only be 21 million in existence. So because it's a scarce asset and more institutions are starting to invest in it, you're hearing about PayPal, you're hearing about Venmo potentially being in it, you're hearing about companies like MicroStrategy putting their balance sheets into it, and many other very, very high up venture capitalists and hedge fund managers speaking about this every single day. It is driving the price up. I constantly look at the charts. This is a Robinhood chart, but it shows me it on the real time. But you can see the candlesticks, and What I'm noticing is that there's a lot of gains more than there are losses. It's a very volatile market if you're interested in getting into the trading side. But in general, I feel like everybody who has the ability and who's fortunate enough to receive a stimulus check or has a little bit of savings that is looking to put their money into something, strongly recommend different cryptocurrencies. Ethereum is probably my second go-to. Bitcoin, I own some of the Bitcoin, and XRP and Litecoin. Those are my top four that I'm looking into. Is really Ethereum, Bitcoin, XRP, Litecoin. But you can do this by setting up a wallet, whether it be Coinbase. You can go to BlockFi. You can go through trading. You can go through eToro, the trading sites that you see online. This is becoming a very popular thing, but what I want people to understand is that you are in the beginning of a monetary revolution, and it's up to you in order for you to get in on it before prices skyrocket or there's an entire change in monetary policy. Because if you have a lot of these and then these don't mean anything in 20 years, then what's the point of having a lot of these? So that is why I'm a big proponent on cryptocurrencies, and I tell my friends about it because of two things: the opportunity and the scarcity. The opportunity is what happens if you get into it and then you're able to transact later on and have some sort of wealth when things don't go well. And then the other thing is the scarcity. There is not that many here, whereas with gold, we don't know how much of this is in the earth currently. We don't know how much more is left. We've mined a lot, but we don't know the finite amount of gold or silver. And so with that, scarcity wins with Bitcoin, and that's why Bitcoin is performing better than gold. I hope this helped you, and I hope you take something from this and realize that you can get into stocks, you can get into bonds, you can get into your Roth IRAs, but I would definitely look at diversifying into different asset classes such as crypto and holding in on them, because the long-term projections in the next 5 to 10 years are looking very, very good. And even though it goes up and down because it's volatile, we saw the Bitcoin crash in 2017 after December when it went up to its all-time high. There's still the opportunity. You know, where there is risk, there is reward. So that was my concept that I wanted to get off and I wanted to bring to everybody on the channel. If you like this content, if this is inspiring to you, I'd like for you to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I am building my channel up. This is what I am doing during this coronavirus pandemic, and I look forward to bringing you more content into the future, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.